The race for mayor of New York, the country's biggest city, would make national headlines in any other campaign cycle. After all, being the mayor of New York is one of the most high-profile positions in America. Giuliani, Koch, and Bloomberg, all familiar names to most. Anthony Weiner is trying to join that list, but he's facing an uphill battle. He resigned from Congress 2 years ago amid a highly public and personal revelation that involved texting lewd pictures of himself to other women other than his wife, Huma Abedin, who, by the way, is a close confidant of Hillary Clinton. He lied not once but twice about his inappropriate behavior, which contributed to his slide in the polls. He's now in fourth place at 7%. But despite all of that, Weiner has vowed to stay in the race to the very end. We've got 48 hours to go until the primary election. Today, Savannah Guthrie went one-on-one in this exclusive interview with the embattled candidate.
Do you still think you have a realistic chance of winning?
Well, look, the answer is yes. From the moment go, I was waging this campaign on a bet. And the bet was basically that I know that people have embarrassing things they would hear about me and did know about me and my background. But I also knew that I had the best ideas and I'd be the best mayor for the city. So before we do postmortems on what happens if I lose, let's have the campaign and let's see if I win. And then we can move forward from there. And after I serve 2 terms, perhaps we can have that conversation.
Are you really saying that with a straight face? I mean, it just feels like the politician thing.
Look, in the highest of the highs, the lowest of the lows in this campaign, when there are 15 cameras from Malaysian TV shouting questions at me, I'm still talking about issues every single day. I just came from doing an event talking about issues important to the middle class.
Let me ask you about that, because you're a realist. You have been in politics a long time. Didn't you know going in that you were something of a flawed messenger, that because of your past, that would detract from the very issues you profess to care
100%,
about?
Yeah. This is not about me. It's not about you. No. It's about the fact that in this city, millions of people every single day are struggling to make it.
But aren't there other ways to contribute other than putting yourself out there, putting your family through it, in some ways embarrassing the city of New York with all of these things?
Well, can I say, let's leave that to the voters.
Before this campaign, you participated in a couple of profiles that portrayed you as a rehabilitated and changed person. You left out the key fact that some of this behavior continued after your resignation from Congress. Was that not at the least misleading?
First of all, anyone who read that story in the New York Times, that long, painful story, where I specifically said these things were not far in my background. If you're saying, should I have said, well, it happened on a particular date? Maybe you're right. Maybe I should have.
Well, that it would happen after you resigned, because you were portraying yourself as somebody who learned a very tough lesson but deserved a second chance.
Right.
And ultimately, you left out this key fact and allowed a misperception
that's
to
fair enough.
exist.
That's fair enough. If I mean, I did say I did these things. I did say I did them over an extended period of time. I said that I did them with more than one person. And I said that more things would come out. I said those things very honestly and was pilloried for saying those things. I regretted them deeply. I was deeply sorry for them, that my wife and I had gotten past them.
Well, let me drill down on that just a little bit, because you sat for a piece in People, and your wife, Huma, was part of it. And in that piece, she talked about how you had changed. At that time, she didn't even know that your behavior was continuing, that it was still going on. Does that not show a capacity to look someone in the eye and lie, not just your wife, but a reporter, but the public?
No, things were a lot better, but during that People magazine profile, they were a lot better.
But she didn't know that it was continuing?
No. But things were a lot better. Look, I was working through things.
Do you ever fear of a relapse, for lack of a better word, that it might come back?
No. I think that I've, with help of my wife, with help of professionals I've got behind me, it's something in my private life. People have things in private lives and that they overcome all the time.
Do you think Huma will come out on the campaign trail between now and Election Day? Will she be by your side on election night?
I don't know. I mean, I'm walking a fine line. You have, as a reporter, you have an appetite for the Huma side of this story. I want to talk about issues important to the middle class and the issues that citizens care about.
Fair enough, but Huma was a key part of your rollout. She spoke on your behalf quite passionately at the moment the second wave of scandal. The media didn't put Huma into this. You and Huma put Huma into this.
I know, you're asking her where she'll be in the future, and I answered your question.
Well, I guess the question is she out of that now? I mean, does she kind of regret being so public with your campaign? Because she's paid a high price for that.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And an unfair one. I don't think she did anything wrong. I mean, if her crime is standing at my side and helping me get through it, that's her crime.
Knowing how tough it would be on you and your family, you'd still run?
No one gets to go back and redo things. I'm convinced that the decision I made was the right one. I'm convinced that I'm going to be the next mayor of this city.
A quick programming note, you can watch Anthony Weiner live tomorrow on Today.